Hey, what's up, my friends? Happy Earth Day. April 22nd, Earth Day. You know, it's my friend's birthday today, and I always remember we would celebrate the Earth Day birthday, at the same time. And even, I'm trying to remember exactly when Earth Day became a thing, but I know it became very popular in the 90s. And it might have been the late 90s, early 2000s, but, I've always looked at it just kind of. It's very similar to somebody creating a friend day, let's say, to be friends. And the person might say, well, you're supposed to be friends all the time. You don't just be a friend on friend day. And it's kind of like the old saying about Mother's Day, that every day should be Mother's Day and things like that. But we set aside specific days for ones we love, or for particular like Christmas and the holidays that we set aside for whatever reasons we choose for those. It's a time to kind of really respect a certain aspect of ourselves and give it a little more thought. But when it comes to Earth Day, I just can't quite get it. I can't get through the fact that every day should really be Earth Day. That it's strange to me that an entire society sets aside a day to appreciate nature and to plant trees and to do things that we should just be doing all the time. But I also understand that if we don't set aside a day to do these things, then it'll never get done. It's kind of like, family dinners and stuff on the holidays. You say, well, we should be able to do this all the time. We shouldn't just have to do it on holidays. But the fact is, you never would, because years just come and go, and the next thing you know, you haven't seen a friend in years. So you set aside particular times each year to get these things done. So I suppose in that regard, Earth Day is an awesome thing. For all the people out there who maybe don't realize that they are part of the Earth, the ones that don't realize that when you walk out in your backyard, that it's not just a house within a city cut out of a forest. I guess it really depends on where you live. I live here in the Pacific Northwest, and it's beautiful. We've integrated the cities into the landscape with the trees. Obviously downtown Portland looks like a city, but if you look out to the hills and on the sides, you look out to East or West Portland, all you see are trees. And when I've gone to California, places in California, and out in the more deserty areas where you've got larger cities with really no cover, and then we get the old smog, attribute that goes along with that, and the old LA illusion, or I should say the image people have of LA. And, it's definitely not my favorite place to be. And I feel sorry for people who have to live in a landscape that doesn't seem natural, if that makes sense. And I'm not trying to diss LA, although I definitely don't like the place very much. It's just because it's too large and because there aren't enough trees. Everything seems synthetic. Many places are like this, and it's not the fault of Californians or the way that they've managed their land or anything. It's just the area they've chosen to live in. And not that I don't like the desert. Maybe, when people talk about Earth Day, planting trees, kind of think the desert really doesn't get enough respect for what it is, except for the people that live there or understand it. And I've always had a love for southeastern Oregon. We'd go out there, and my dad would take us out camping, and we'd hike around in these hills with rattlesnakes and scorpions and stuff, and no trees. And I built a love for it. And that landscape to me is pristine, silent nature. And I guess the reason he liked it so much is because nobody else goes there. And I guess that makes sense to me. I've always been that kind of person myself. I really love getting out into nature, but when I do, I don't understand the idea that camping is pulling off the freeway in a paved campground and staying somewhere that's not even really in the woods. There might be some cheesy trail off to the side. For some people, this is nature. This is what they do. They hop in a motorhome and they go out and they stay in their motorhome and maybe get out and have a campfire at night. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with motorhomes. I'd love to have one. In fact, yeah, I'd love to have a motorhome. But what I mean is that using the motorhome as the main base rather than nature, it's hard to describe, but I think you know where I'm going with it. You know that nature is something we do instead of something we just are. You know, going out into nature is one of those terms that always cracks me up. Of course, my perspective's changed over the years. You know, there was a time when I believed that humans were a scourge on this planet, that we had nothing to offer, that we were like a cancer on this planet. And I've seen several people describe humanity that way. That, you know, when a disease comes, that global warming is the fever of the earth shaking us off and all these things. It's all nonsense to me now. It's a matter of humans realizing our potential and seeing that we really are part of everything, that we're not separate, that we're not humans on Earth, that we are Earth. So Earth Day is the realization that every day we are part of it all.